What is up, guys? Zorkas is here with Minuttia, and today we're going to talk about search intent. Many interesting things to cover, so keep watching. So as I mentioned, today we're going to talk about search intent, and more specifically, we're going to cover how to identify and classify search intent by reading the SERPs. SERPs stands for Search Engine Results Pages, okay? Here's an overview of what we're covering. First of all, we are going to explain what search intent is. Then we are going to talk a bit about why search intent is important. Next, we are going to present the 5 types of search intent. Moving forward, we're going to see how to classify search intent. And last but not least, we are going to share a couple of things that you need to pay attention to when it comes to search intent. Okay? So without any further ado, let's get into it. First of all, we are going to explain what search intent is, okay? And we are going to do that because this will make more clear the things that will follow in this presentation, okay? In other words, if you don't know what search intent is, there is no meaning talking about search intent classification or more advanced concepts around search intent. So what is search intent? Search intent is the why behind each search query. In other words, it's the reason why you are looking or asking for something on a search engine like Google. It's the why behind you are conducting the search, okay? And as you can see on the right side of my screen, we have a screenshot from Google. The query that we are using as an example is Canva alternatives, okay? Full disclaimer here, Vismu is one of our clients. This is why we are featuring this example. But as you can see, when we are searching for a term like Canva alternatives, then chances are that we are actually looking for a tool with similar product capabilities like Canva, and we are either an active user of Canva and we are thinking to switch to another provider, or we have heard about Canva and we want to see what other solutions are out there before we sign up for a free trial or before we use the product, okay? And as you can see, the first result that comes up on the SERPs is the one from Vismu, which is a list post with some of the most prominent Canva alternatives in the market, okay? Now, there is an important distinction between search intent and SERP intent. Search intent is basically what you think as a content creator, for example, that the searcher is searching for when they are conducting a search, okay? And SERP intent, on the other hand, is what Google thinks that searchers are looking for, okay? And what Google thinks is a result of the searches that are conducted online, okay? In other words, when you're searching for something like Canva alternatives, Google knows and has identified that what people are looking for is actually a list post with some of the prominent Canva alternatives in the market, okay? This is why it is serving results that are relevant to the one that we have featured here, list posts with Canva alternatives, okay? Now on the SERPs, we have 2 ways of presenting the search results. The first one is when we have a clear SERP intent, also known as focused SERP intent, and the second one is what we call a mixed SERP intent. Let's get into some examples for each of the 2 ways in order to make it a bit more plain. So here we have an example of clear SERP intent, also known as focused SERP intent, okay? We have used the term SEO tools as an example. And as you can see, just by taking a look at the 4 top results in the first page of the SERPs, it is pretty clear that what people expect to see when they are searching for a term like SEO tools is actually a list with the best free tools for SEO, okay? And in this case, we say that we have a clear SERP intent because it is pretty clear for us as a content creator, as a brand, for example, or as an SEO tool, that what we have to create if we were to target this term would be a list post that lists the best free SEO tools, okay? This is easy for us as a content creator, but there are other cases as well where the intent, the SERP intent, isn't as clear, okay? Let's see an example of that. Now, in this case, we have what we call a mixed SERP intent, okay? And as you can see, we are searching for the term, we are using the term trading as an example. And as you can see in the SERP that we have on the right side of my screen, we have a beginner's guide with trading strategies. We have an introduction to day trading, and also the homepage of tradingview.com. Okay, and so in this case, it is pretty clear that it is unclear what people are searching for when they are using the term trading. Okay, so in these cases, we say that we have a mixed SERP intent. In other words, if we were to target the term trading, we would not be exactly sure what type of content we would have to create in order to be considered as a relevant resource and thus, get a position among the top results on the SERPs. Okay. Now, we have explained what search intent is. We have made a distinction between search intent and SERP intent, and we have also shared a couple of examples for focused, clear SERP intent and mixed SERP intent. At this point, we are going to explain why search intent is important. So the reason why search intent is important is because by identifying it and satisfying search intent, we have chances of being competitive on the SERPs for our target terms. Okay, and it is pretty clear at this point, I hope, that if our content satisfies search intent for a given query that is important to us, to our business, then it is highly likely that we will get visibility and we will be able to get organic traffic and establish ourselves as an authority and relevant and trustworthy resource on the SERPs. Okay, so if SEO is important to us, we always have to create content having search intent in mind. Now, let's get to one of the most interesting sections of this presentation, where we are going to talk about the types of search intent. In general, we have 4 types of search intent. Before I delve any further, let me just say that the 5th one that you can see here, the job to be done one, is something that we have come up internally and that we are using for our clients. You will not find it in most, articles, blog posts, guides on search intent. Okay. So the first type of search intent that we have is informational search intent, where we have queries indicating the need for information. Okay. Next, we have commercial search intent, when we have queries indicating a commercial investigation on behalf of the user. Then we have navigational search intent, queries indicating the need of finding specific information about a business online. Next, we have transactional search intent, where we have queries indicating the need of conducting some sort of monetization action. And last but not least, we have job to be done, which once again, it's something that you will not find in most guides online. It's something that we have developed in-house at Minuttia and that we are using for our clients, where we have queries indicating the need of help in performing a very specific action, job to be done. Okay, let's see some examples for each of the 5 types of search intent. Now, before we delve any further, let me just say that all the examples that we are going to use for the 5 types of search intent are from Minuttia's clients, okay? And the reason why we are featuring those examples is because we know the websites of our clients very well, and thus we feel very comfortable in presenting examples around them. Now, the first result that also has the featured snippet for our target term, how to get your blog noticed, comes from Respona, okay? And as you can see, it is a list post with ways you can use to get your blog noticed and boost your traffic. In this case, we were sure and we knew what we had to create in order to satisfy search intent was a guide, because people who are looking for this term, how to get your blog noticed, are more likely in the mood to read. They want to look for ways to get their blog noticed, okay? And thus, by creating a piece of content that's purely informational and that satisfies search intent, we were able to have a very nice position on the SERPs for our target term. The way to identify whether a query has informational search intent is by taking a look at the modifiers used by the searcher. The same applies to pretty much all the 5 types of search intent that we will be looking moving forward. Some modifiers indicating the need for information are what, who, when, how to, examples, and so on and so forth. You can find more modifiers like these in our search intent guide that you can find at minuttia.com/search intent. Let's move on to the next one. So the next type of search intent that we have, and the next example, is commercial search intent. And as you can see, the example that we're using is best OTT platforms. The result that we are featuring is once again by a client by Minuttia Uscreen. And as you can see, in order to satisfy the intent behind the term best OTT platforms, it seems that people are actually looking for a list post that lists basically the best OTT platforms in the market. So by creating a very nice and in-depth list post on best OTT platforms, our client Uscreen was capable of ranking high for the target term best OTT platforms. Some modifiers that indicate commercial investigation are comparison, alternatives, review, best, software, plugin, or app. As a general comment, we can say that terms with commercial search intent are really great at driving top and middle of the funnel organic traffic. Let's get to the next one. So next we have navigational search intent, and the example that we're using here is Visme customer support. Once again, Visme is one of our clients, thus we're featuring it as an example. And as you can see, when someone is searching for Visme's customer support, they are actually looking for either information on how to get a specific job done within the product, or they may be looking for contact information on how to contact Visme's customer support. This may be an email or even a phone number that they can call. And as you can see on the screenshot that we have on the right side of my screen, Visme is there with a very nice page that's dedicated on their support to give all the answers that people may have in mind that may be looking for when they are searching for Visme customer support. Some modifiers indicating navigational search intent are login for software as a service companies, sign in for SaaS, once again, contact, hours, customer service, and customer support that we have already seen. Let's get to the next one. Next, we have transactional search intent, and as you can see, we are using the term Zulu trading pricing as an example. When someone is searching for Zulu trading pricing, then chances are that they are closer at making some kind of monetization action towards this product, service, company, whatever. Okay, so in this case, people are looking for Zulu trade pricing, which means that they know Zulu Trade, they know what Zulu Trade is doing, they probably compared Zulu Trading with other companies already, or they are actively doing it at this moment, and they want to see what the pricing of the company is to decide whether or not this is the best solution for them. Queries and terms with transactional search intent are really great at driving bottom of the funnel traffic to your website. Some modifiers indicating transactional search intent are buy, sale, to rent, quote, book, price. And obviously, these change and are different based on the type of business that you run. Let's get to the final one. So as I mentioned previously, job to be done is something that we are using internally because we have identified it as a separate search intent type. Okay, you will not find it in most guides around search intent online. The example that we are using here, once again from one of Minuttia's clients, PRG, is marketing budget templates. And as you can see, when people are searching for templates, what they are actually looking for is an editable template, preferably, since we are talking about marketing budget, in Google Sheets or Excel format that they can download and that they can start using right away. So by creating a nice guide with free templates that people can download, we were able to rank in somewhere around page 2, if I'm not mistaken, for the target term marketing budget templates. Some modifiers that belong to this category are builder, calculator, generator, framework, planner, template, and so on and so forth. Now, once again, as I mentioned in the beginning, you can jump into our search intent guide at minuttia.com/search intent to find and download a nice list of search intent modifiers per search intent type. We really believe that this list of search intent modifiers will make your life easier when it comes to identifying the best terms to cover for your business. Let's move on. Now, in the next section, we are going to discuss how to classify search intent, and we are going to present a very prominent example when it comes to classifying search intent, just to give you an idea of how you should think when it comes to search intent classification. Before we delve any further though, let me just say that credits for the process that we are going to describe goes to Bernard Huang, who is a co-founder at ClearScope. He was the one who taught us this process and that we have developed ever since and that we use for our clients. Let's get into it. So first of all, what is search intent classification? Search intent classification is the process of identifying the search intent of a specific term by counting the number of occurrences in the top results on the SERPs. Okay, as we mentioned previously, we have focused, clear SERP intent, and we also have mixed SERP intent. In other words, in some cases you will see that search intent classification is easier, it's clear what we need to create in order to be considered a relevant resource, and in other cases you will see that things are not as clear, okay? It is your job as the content creator or as the person who creates the content brief for the content creator to classify search intent and basically identify what people expect to see for the target term. Now, the example that we're using here is the term sales funnel, okay? And as you can see, we have taken a screenshot that features basically 4 results on the SERPs in the first page of the results. And as you can see, right away, we can see a pattern here that emerges. We can see that the top results, all of them have the modifier what is in the front, okay, of the title tag. This shows us that what Google wants to see when it comes to sales funnel is actually a guide that explains what is a sales funnel, okay? And if you go on and actually start counting the number of occurrences for each of the results in the top 10, you will see that we have the modifier what is 7 times, the modifier how to 1 time, the modifier best 1 time, and the modifier definition 1 time. So it is pretty clear in this case that what we need to create is a guide that covers the question, that answers the question, what is, okay? And in this case, obviously, the SERP intent is clear. Google wants to see a guide that answers the question, what is sales funnel, okay? As I mentioned just now, in other cases, things will not be as clear and you will have to dive a bit deeper into trying to understand what Google and as an extension, what people are searching for when they are conducting a search based on the term that interests you. Here, it is clear that the dominant search intent is informational because people are looking for information. But once again, in many other cases, things will not be as clear, okay? You will have mixed SERP intent, which means that you have to dig deeper into trying to understand what people want to see. All in all, though, you have to remember that search intent classification, the process that we described just now for the term sales funnel, is something that you need to do if you are interested in search engine optimization for your content creation efforts. It's something that you need to do every time when you're trying to develop the strategy for a new piece of content, okay? In other words, when you are creating the content brief for a piece of content that you will be creating, you have to do search intent classification as a way to understand what Google expects to see on the SERPs and as an extension what people want to see based on the term that we are targeting. And with that, let's move on to the final section where we will discuss some things to pay attention to when it comes to search intent. So one of the first things that you need to pay attention to is to update existing content to match search intent, okay? And a good opportunity to do that is when you are doing, for example, a content audit every 4-6 months. You can also update existing content to match search intent, because what happens in many cases is that we publish a piece of content, it starts to perform, but we see that it doesn't perform as it should be or as we wish that it would perform, exactly because it doesn't exactly matches and satisfy search intent. So it's a good opportunity to update that content in order to match search intent. Another thing that you need to pay attention to is to create missing pages to match navigational queries, okay? This is more important for brands and companies in later stages, where you will notice that as your brand grows, as your product grows, as you acquire more customers and more people join your company, you will see that People are searching for different things around your company. For example, when you're at an early stage, chances are that your users will not be searching for something like, your company's name, customer support, okay? Because you have a more intimate relationship with them, and thus they don't feel the need to go on Google and search for something like that. But when you are at a later stage, chances are that people are looking for your brand online, and they are looking for things that in some cases you may be missing. So we'd highly recommend taking a look at Google Search Console, for example, to see what people are searching for when it comes to your brand in order to create missing pages to match navigational queries. Another thing that you can do when it comes to search intent is to try to create on-site paths based on customer lifecycle stages. What this means basically is that if people, for example, are visiting your website, a guide that you have created with informational search intent behind the target term, there is a good opportunity for you to create an additional resource in order to get people to start having a connection with you, to start establishing a relationship. And you can do that, for example, by having gated content on that guide. And thus people, they come on your website, they visit your guide, they take value out of it, and you prompt them to get a step closer to you by adding even more value with a gated piece of content that's related, obviously, that's tightly related to the first one. And last but not least, we'd highly recommend, we are doing it for all Minuttia's clients, but we highly recommend, we have seen great, amazing results with that, is to group keywords when you're conducting keyword research based on their intent, okay? And in that context, the search intent modifiers list that we are giving for free through our search intent guide at minuttia.com/search intent will come in handy when you're conducting keyword research, and I really believe that it will help you having a more structured approach when it comes to your keyword research. And with that, we've finished with our search intent video. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notifications on future videos like that. And also, it would be very helpful for us if we knew what are the topics and the things that you'd like to know and to see from us moving forward. Thank you very much for watching this, and have a great day ahead. Cheers.